Updates and stories that are trending now, and Olamide Odekunle is standing by to bring us up to speed. Olamide, good morning.
Good morning, team. How are you doing?
Very well.
Happy Easter Monday. How are you doing?
Happy Easter.
I'm blessed among the ladies. I'm enjoying my time today.
Olamide, it's time to serve us very, very hot stories.
I'm
Over
happy
to you.
Although it's very sad that we're discussing these very serious security concerns over the holiday, but it's also very timely as everyone's going to be out. But I'm going to take it away. Good morning, Nigeria. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eyes constantly on the streets. And if it's a trending story, whether it's Easter Monday or any other day, we are going to dissect it on here live and direct. In our first story, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is calling for mandatory drug testing of all prospective NYSC members as part of its broader strategy to combat rising substance use among Nigerian youth. Now, the NDLEA chairman, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, has said that the move would not only deter drug use, but also enable early intervention for those who test positive during orientation. He was speaking through the agency's Director of Drug Demand Reduction. He emphasized that the importance of proactive measures at the grassroots cannot be understated, including schools, communities, and families. Now, his initiative falls under the War Against Drug Abuse campaign, and NDLEA for the longest time has been providing affordable test kits and trained personnel to institutions that handle younger people. He stressed that it's important that we reverse Nigeria's drug crisis, and we need a unified national effort and stronger support systems for young people who are battling addiction. And I guess he's decided to start with the NYSC. Meanwhile, the NDLEA is actually doing some important work that needs more light, and they're doing this on the ground, and they're having weekly reviews where they shine a light on their interventions and their stories of recovery from drug abuse. Take a look at these commendable transformational stories.
The head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the craving.
Now, online, the rhetoric was that there was a lot of backlash concerning this. People were saying, why should NYSC test, incoming coppers? It infringes on their human rights. But the video that you just saw is the reason why, that lots of young people need help and that they're losing their lives to drug abuse. But in order for this not to infringe on the rights of the coppers, NDLEA will need to put in place a proper and clear legal framework that is backed by the National Assembly. And also, if they do get positive drug tests, it would be great to see them handle it from the aspect of rehabilitation as opposed to punishment of these coppers who might be struggling with drug addiction. But let's take a look at social media. Grandpa Frank says, mandate it for your senators first. We'll take another tweet. Tam says, what a joke of an agency. You cannot just conduct a drug test on someone without any probable cause. I trust coppers are no suspects of drug abuse, possession, and trafficking. Hence, it would be an assault and infringement on their fundamental human rights as provided by the Constitution. This is a double-edged sword. In our next story, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the NSCDC, has reportedly apprehended a man found with a firearm inside a church in Bukas local government area of Plateau State, the same region where just last week 52 people were killed in attacks that were linked to armed herdsmen. Now, according to a source, the man could not provide any legal documentation or clear explanation for possessing the weapon. And while it remains unclear whether the individual individual posed a threat or whether he was acting in self-defense, this incident is being treated with caution, given the area's recent history of violence. The suspect's identity has not yet been disclosed, and there are ongoing investigations surrounding this. But, you know, all throughout the program and all throughout last week, we spoke about local vigilante and localized security. And this is the result of this. This is just one in many. And I worry that we might see many more faces like this and many more people taking arms. And so this is the face of it right now. But let's take a look at social media. Mashini says, let them ask him very well. He might be protecting the church because even the church is not safe too. I don't believe in all this interrogation. Olusesan says, thank God for the security's intelligence. It could have been another story. Now, I don't know much about this story, but I worry that this man could have been acting in fear. We'll wait for the investigations to reveal more. But what do you guys think? We've been talking about localized security. Now we're seeing somebody taking up arms and we don't know who. The lines are very, very blurred, and we might be seeing more of this in coming times with the insecurity in Benue and Plateau.
Absolutely. Olamide, I do not want us to conclude as to how he got the weapons, or that perhaps he's acting in self-defense or acting out of fear. How did he get the weapon in the first place? There are laws. You don't just bear arms like that. Yes, we know that Nigeria is dealing with the matters of small arms and light weapons, the infiltration of it, but how did he get it? Because these things are expensive. So someone must have given him that gun, and they have to get to the root of how he acquired that weapon. The state government needs to take it up and carry out investigation. By now, we should have details of him. You cannot just hand a gun to someone who does not know how to use it. So for him to just be handling the gun, there is some underlying story that we need to get to the root of. And then to the matter of NYSC and NDLEA and the need to carry out tests for persons who want to, do their service year. I think it's a good step in the right direction, but it has to be backed by law, like you rightly pointed out. But I guess that this is something that they can still work hand in glove and get the cooperation of youth coppers as they move ahead.
All right, I think the man with the gun in the church is something that they really need to investigate. You cannot just give a gun to someone that doesn't properly know how to use it, or when something happens, he can just go off like that. He may end up even killing innocent people. So I think that's something they really need to find out. Who gave him the gun? How did he get it in the church? Was he trying to attack the church? Was he trying to protect himself? These are questions that we have to ask. And talking about the NYSC thing, I would really say I agree with it, because Olamide, if you look at how a lot of young people take drugs now, it is scary, it's alarming. So I do not even fault the NYSC for saying that, you want to get into to serve, your country. Let's find out, if you are actually taking drugs. If you are, then they can crop it at the early stage than waiting for you to now finish before, you find out that the person was taking drugs. And then look at the videos we just watched. I really like the idea. I think the person that came up with it should have like really cold, chilled water to just cool his temper for this Easter. And I think it's something they should do. But also with the law, they should work hand in hand with them. And I pray that every young person will cooperate, because the rate of drugs right now, we really need to check our young people.
Yes, I totally support testing NYSC corps members, right before they get on camp, because we know that a lot of people, a lot of them from school, some of them are drug abusers. It doesn't mean that they are infringing on your privacy. Of course, it's a dicey situation. You have the right to privacy and all of that. It should go beyond NYSC. They should also extend it to secondary school, because we know younger kids are now doing drugs. Some of them are doing, serious drugs that even the elderly ones are not able to do. So one of the tweets said, extend it to the senators. Yeah, I think anyone across the nation, should be, tested for drugs. It doesn't mean that, and then we should think of how to adjust our laws in terms of how do we know who is doing drugs or not, because some people you do not even expect are doing drugs, housewives, husbands, maids, etc. So it's one thing, it's a dicey situation, but we have to subject it to constant debate so that we decide how we'll definitely rid our society of bad eggs.
Thank you all so much for your input. I believe that the first step to curbing drug abuse is this open dialogue that we're having even on this set.